done in a different way. This pandemic has made everybody's life change, and we are here to try to provide as much information as possible to make you feel comfortable, and also to make sure that we can support you and help you in filling all the forms and applications that are required to be part of the program. So my name is Sergio Keck, and in our presentation today, we have Ms. Kimberly Johnson-Ray, Ms. Angela Berry, Ms. Margaret Carey, Ms. Dawn Vandermark, and Ms. Cami Almy. Once again, thank you for being here. And the agenda for this meeting will be as follows. Why enroll? What will the preschools look like? How to make sure we apply for the preschool program, and how to support the parents. So with that, I pass this presentation on to Ms. Kim Johnson-Ray.
Good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to have you all here on our Zoom meeting to kind of discuss what our program is, what the preschool program is all about. First of all, I want to say GSRP stands for Great Start Readiness Program. And a lot of times we use the acronym GSRP to describe the preschool program. And a lot of times our parents are like, I don't know what GSRP is. So when you hear GSRP, just know it's preschool, okay? So I just wanted to share with you that we've been a preschool program in the district for a little over 20 years. And we've been growing this program since then from 4 classrooms back in 01, I believe, or so, and until we now have 28 classrooms, which is amazing for this kind of program. We have also 28 preschool classrooms located in 14 schools. And if you notice that there are some 3 schools that have an asterisk by it, those are our specialty schools. We have Wexford Montessori School that we also hold our preschool classroom there. We have a Post Oak Chinese Immersion, that's an option, and Luton Spanish Immersion, that is also an option for you. So out of those 14 classrooms or 14 schools, you do have options for some of the immersion programs and some specialized programs. Last time in the chat, I would put little nuggets about our program, and I can do that. So I just want you to pay attention to the chat, and I know that Sergio, Mr. Keck actually talked to you about, you have questions that you can enter those questions in the chat, but I will also be putting some pertinent information about preschool in the chat as well. So it'll be the did you know questions, okay? I think that is it. If you could go to the next slide, Angie. We're gonna have Dawn Vandermark, who is a preschool teacher at Riddle Elementary School. She's so passionate about the program and about our students and about the work. And so, Dawn, it's all yours.
Great, thank you. Just a quick little note here. I've been an early childhood educator. That means I've been teaching early childhood between the ages of 3 to 5 for over 22 years. This is my passion. We had a meeting the other day, and the question was, why enroll? And I opened up my mouth and said, why enroll? Because you are going to get the best of us. You are going to get the best teachers. You're going to get the best of me. I work with phenomenal colleagues, teachers, and we want to build this foundation. We want to partner with you so we can help you help your child while we teach them. This is not going to be, you're not going to be left out there trying to figure this out. When we went into the COVID shutdown on March 16th, the #1 question from my parents were, what can I do at home? What can I do at home? And that's what we're here to do. This is going to be us teaching, which Angela is going to talk way more about than I'm going to talk about. But the biggest thing is a foundation. When your littles go to kindergarten, they have a lot of stuff that they are going to be taught, but this will build that foundation. So when they go into kindergarten, they'll build another step, and then another, and another, and another, and then they will graduate from the Lansing School District and on to other things. But this is a huge, huge thing that the Lansing District has taken on, and we want to partner with you to have your littles have the best education they possibly can have. So when they enter those K through 12, they are ready to fly. And I think I'm going to be done talking now, Angela. I'm going to mute myself.
Well, thank you, Dawn. We appreciate that. So just to follow up with what Dawn was saying, so first of all, I'm Angela Berry. I'm our program specialist, and please feel free to put questions or comments in the chat as we go along. But to go along with that, I wanted to point out that we have weekly active learning focused on math, science, literacy, social, emotional, art, gross motor and fine motor skills, and we'll go into that in more detail. And every classroom has two early childhood experts or teachers. So you will have two teachers that will be working with your family and child during the school year. And there will be individualized instruction to meet each child's need. So we are doing the screen-to-screen learning that Lansing School District is doing for the first marking period, which goes until the second week of November. And we want to show you what that might look like for preschool. So we're still focusing on the whole child. So that means academics, as well as social, emotional, and physical and health needs. And these are our categories for our curriculum, and the curriculum we use is the high school curriculum. And we'll show you a little bit more about each of these categories before talking more about how this will look as screen to screen. So we believe our philosophy is that children learn best through play. So we're going to have as many play experiences as possible for your child, and we want them actively learning, not passively looking at a screen. So let's talk a little bit more about what that might look like. Our first category in our high school curriculum is language, literacy, and communication. And as you can see, we focus on all parts of literacy: speaking, listening, alphabetic knowledge, reading, book enjoyment, writing. So we focus on all parts of literacy. For mathematics, we have numbers and counting, geometry, which of course is shapes and spatial awareness, measurement, patterns, data analysis. And as you can see in these pictures, children are using some math manipulatives, such as counting bears or Unifix cubes. And your child, once they're enrolled in our program, will receive some of these materials to use at home while we're doing lessons with your child at home. I think I went a little too far. Okay. And of course, we're going to focus on social and emotional development. The curriculum we use for this is the second step curriculum. And you can see some of the materials on the slide. One thing that we use are puppets, and teachers act out how possibly like a conflict between two children that want to use the same toy. They might act it out with the puppets, and then the children have to come up with ideas on how they might solve that problem. So we use puppets a lot, and we can do that screen to screen through our video conference lessons, where they would be in a meeting such as this, where we are doing a video conference with your child and other children in the classrooms. And then we might focus on ways that your child can calm their bodies, fair ways to play, and of course, really focusing on identifying feelings, learning emotion words. These are really important for young children. For physical development, we're going to focus on gross motor skills, so using those big body muscles for jumping, kicking, throwing, catching. fine motor skills, so developing those fine motor muscles in the child's hand, which is really important step before writing, and then personal care and healthy behavior. High scope, we have approaches to learning, which means that children really plan what they're going to do. So that child, that boy with the phone and the picture on the slide, we might have a child pretend to talk on a phone to us and tell us their plans for that day. And then reflection is a huge part of the process. So they're reflecting on what they did that day, either by drawing it, talking about it, showing us something they did in their home. But it's really important to reflect on what was done that day and what they learned. And then we also do activities with problem solving with materials. We also want to include creative arts. So that would be like visual arts like painting, drawing, as well as music, movement, and pretend play, which are all very important in our program. And as you can see in this slide, there's a homemade instrument. So you might be using materials that you already have in your home, like an empty water bottle, put some rice, beans, beads, whatever you have in the home in it. And then you may do a video conference with your teacher and the class where they're playing their musical instruments and singing and dancing. But we really want to focus on things that you might already have in your home, as well as some basic materials that we'll send home with your child. So for science and technology, for example, we do a lot with experimenting, predicting, and drawing conclusions. There's a picture of a boy here doing a sink or flow activity. That might be something that we do with your child, and in a little bit we'll talk about what part of the day that might happen. So I want to take a moment here, just pause. Can you all think of things that you might have in your home or ways that you already do science in your home? And if you could put that in the chat, we would love to see that. I'm going to take a moment to look at the chat here. So if you have any ways that, any materials that you could use at home, so playing and exploring with bugs in nature, that would be wonderful. As you can see, there is a child in this slide with a magnifying glass. We may be sending a magnifying glass home with your child. So we can work on like observing. Oh wow, older siblings showing younger siblings ideas with science. Yes, nature is a wonderful way to learn about science. And so those are just some ideas. We also do social studies in our curriculum, knowledge of self and others, geography and history. Usually we draw a picture or a map of the classroom and students learn how to read that map. They point on the classroom map where they want to play that day. So maybe it is a map that's drawn of your home and they show us on the map where they're going to play that day or what they're going to do. And then our last one is English language learning. So for our students whose first language is not English and they're learning English, we have a category for that in our curriculum, which is listening to and understanding English and speaking English. So now let's get more into the how here. Let's see here. So normally we have home visits at the beginning of the school year. However, that's not safe with COVID, but we still want to build that relationship with you all and meet your child and you in a safe manner. So whatever you feel comfortable with, your teachers can either go to your home and meet you outside your home, or you could come to the school and meet with your teachers outside the school. But at that time, everyone would be wearing face masks and social distancing. And the teachers can give you at that time your bag of screen-to-screen learning materials that you would use at home to do lessons. And of course, meet each other and talk about the school year. So also every preschooler will receive a district-loaned iPad. And we're working out how that distribution might look. It might not happen during that time that the teacher meets you, but you will receive an iPad for your child that's district loaned. Also, for our GSRP program, we are meeting 4 days a week. So the screen-to-screen learning will take place on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, not on Wednesdays. And the first day of GSRP screen-to-screen learning is Thursday, September 17th. But your teacher will call you before that date to set up that time to meet. So these are some examples of the screen-to-screen learning materials you would receive from your teacher. There's markers like writing materials, crayons, these math manipulatives such as Unifix cubes and counting bears, a hardcover children's book, Play-Doh, glue sticks, scissors, some of those basic materials you will be receiving. And for weeks 1 and 2, we are going to focus on building relationships and routines. It's not as easy to build relationships with the screen-to-screen learning model, but it is still very important, and we want to do everything we can to get to know you, your family's individual needs, your child's individual needs. For building routines, in the classroom, there is usually, there always is a daily schedule. And we want to make sure that you also have this daily schedule at home and that it's visual. So it's going to have pictures with words. So our children, they always like to know what's going to happen next. It makes them feel safe and secure. So maybe it's your daily schedule starts out with breakfast time, and you can see on the screen there's a breakfast time icon. And then you could ask your child, well, what's going to happen next? Oh, we're going to do greeting time. So we're going to get on the iPad and do greeting time with your teacher. And then we're going to have outside time. So your teachers will work with you to create a visual schedule at your home that works for your family and your family's needs, and also includes our curriculum components, which we'll get into in more detail now. But I want to take a moment and pause, and I want to hear your feedback. What do you all think about this daily schedule and having a visual schedule at your home? Is that helpful? Do your kids need that routine? So also, your teachers, when they visit with you in the beginning of the school year, they will give you printouts of these daily schedule icons. So that breakfast symbol, whatever it is, like outside time, and you can use those to create your visual schedule at home. So let me check out chat here. I'm interested to hear your feedback. So scary, but what about kids that are, sorry, it's moving fast. Yes, you can use your own iPad, I believe. If there's more feedback than that, please let me know, Sergio or Kim. So some people are saying that would be very helpful to have the daily routines. Routines are always good for kids. Yep, if you have your own device, you're welcome to use it. Helpful, but can be difficult to implement consistently. Yes?
There was also a question in the chat from Alexander. What about kids whose parents are only home at night? So our lessons will be pre-recorded, so you'll have access to the lessons anytime. So however you set up, you're able to set up the program for your student, that would be fine. So you would have the pre-recorded lessons.
Thank you. And I understand it could be difficult, as some people are saying, to implement a consistent routine, especially if there's other kids in the house. So please let your teacher know about your individual needs, and they can work with you to develop those daily schedules with you. Okay. So moving on. These are some examples of our daily curriculum components that we will have in our screen-to-screen learning model. And that would be things that you would put on your daily schedule or your visual schedule at home. So there's message board time, which I'll explain in a moment, interactive reading time, small group, our second step, social emotional lessons, Haggerty, which is our phonemic awareness curriculum, as well as large group movement time. So this is what message board time looks like inside the classroom. It's a time where it's usually happens in the beginning of the day, and the teacher writes about using very simple words or letters and symbols, what some things they're going to do that day or what the day is going to look like. And we can still do this in a screen-to-screen model. So your child would get onto a video conference with the teacher and the other students in the classroom, and they would write on the whiteboard, and the children would help to read it. They might ask a question like, oh, what letter is this? What sound does it make? What do you think this picture is? What do you think this board is saying? And sometimes, as you can see in that picture, the child helps to write on the whiteboard. And we do, with our technology, we do have some ways that it can be an interactive whiteboard on the iPad, and the kids can help write part of the message. So it will be a way to interactively write and read together as a class and to learn about what's going to happen that day. And as we know, children have a short attention span. So these lessons will only be at most 10 minutes at a time, possibly much shorter. Interactive read alouds. This will happen daily with your child's teachers. So they're going to get on to the video conference and they're going to read a fun animated book, and it's interactive because they're going to ask questions. So they might say, oh, look at this child in the book. Look at their face. How do you think they're feeling? And then your child can respond to those questions. There might be an assignment linked to it. So after you're done reading the book, the teacher's going to ask the child to draw their favorite part in the book. So then once you get off that lesson, your child might draw their favorite part of the book. You take a picture of that drawing and send it to the teacher. And then the teacher will give immediate feedback or feedback soon after about your child's drawing. So that's just an example, but this is something that would happen daily where there's an interactive read aloud. Small group time is a time, so this is what it would look like in the classroom, but with the screen-to-screen model, your child again would get on a video conference with a small group of children and one of the teachers, and we would ask you to bring certain materials to the lesson. So for example, in the science category, I talked about a sink or float lesson. So maybe they're doing that during small group time. They ask you to bring to the lesson a small bowl of water and some objects from your house. And the teacher is asking questions like, oh, what do you think do you think that's going to sink or float in the water? And then the child will try it out, and they may sort the materials by materials that sink and float and talk about what other children are doing in their homes simultaneously. So that is what small group time would look like, and that would happen daily. This again is our second step social emotional curriculum, and again there would be a short second step lesson that's done daily as well. And as you can see, the teacher is using the puppets to teach social emotional skills, and that may happen. Or they may be doing a fun game that day on how to calm your body and some breathing skills that then they can use at home with you. I'm not really checking chat now, so if anyone sees a good question and needs to chime in with it, please let me know. So Haggerty is our phonemic awareness curriculum. And again, we will have this as a daily lesson, and we would prefer that your child participates in the interactive video conference, but if you do need to watch a recorded version and do it with your child later, that is fine as well. But phonemic awareness is when your child will learn to focus on and manipulate individual sounds and spoken words. And this is a very important skill to have before being able to write and read. So you're hearing the different sounds and words. So they might be working with nursery rhymes, and then there's this alphabet chart as well. So learning letters and sounds and words, very important part of the day. And then large group movement time. This is the last one. So this is what large group looks like in the classroom, a lot of singing and dancing, and we don't want to take away from that during the screen to screen. We still want your child having that preschool experience where we're singing and dancing all together and having fun. That's part of preschool. So we say, go get a piece of fabric, go get a scarf in your house, and we're all going to get online now, and we're going to sing and dance at the same time every day, and do some rhymes together, or go get your musical instrument that you made with that plastic water bottle, and we're going to sing and dance as a whole group. So that would be the large group movement time. So now I'm going to turn it over to Cami Almy. She is a teacher at Kavanaugh, and we are using Google Classroom as our template, same as Lansing School District. So this is a Google Classroom she created for the preschool classroom.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to switch so that I'm sharing my screen. So what Angie was showing you was the Google slide in the Google Classroom. So you will get a code or a link from your child's teacher that will connect you to your Google Classroom. So once you're in the Google Classroom, they can set up assignments or post material for you to look at. And that's what will take you to the Google slide, which is where our classroom and our learning is taking place. I have connected all the parts that Angie has talked about, plus some other very important things, into my Google Slides. So we have the morning message, and if you were to click on this, it would send your child to a taped recording of either one of the child's teachers doing morning message with the kids that were on at that time. Then you have your small group. There'll have to be 2 connections, one for each teacher, depending on which small group your child was in. Then your Haggerty lesson that Angie had talked about, so we get our phonemic awareness. Throw kindness around like confetti is how I connected my second step, which is our social emotional learning. So if you were to click on that, then it takes you to a link that has the lessons for the day. And I will link the actual recording as well. All of these books are also a link, which will take you to me or Mrs. Hesher reading the books. And then we talk about our second step lesson plan will be connected here. There's a video about washing hands because it's so important every day to wash our hands, but even more so now to learn the proper way of washing hands. And when we get back to person, it'll be helpful for our kids to already know what we expect. And then I also linked my alphabet chart to a program that we use on the iPads called Starfall in the classroom. I think that's it, Angie, if you want to continue going. I don't know how to unshare. There, stop sharing.
Thank you, Cami. So that is an example of the Google Slide and Google Classroom for preschool. So now, now that we talked about what it will look like for at least the first marking period, after the first marking period, the district will make a decision if it's safe enough to go back to in-person learning, and if it is, we will go back the same as the district, and if not, we will continue our screen-to-screen learning. So this is eligibility requirements for our GSRP preschool program, which is a free state grant funded preschool program, and it's designed to prepare children for kindergarten. Again, the classes will be offered in Lansing 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And your child must be 4 years old by September 1st, not 5. If your child is gonna turn 4 before December 1st, please still apply because we have some early age entry options as well. And you must be a resident of Lansing School District or Ingham County and meet eligibility requirements. So the first step in applying, which some of you may have already done, is go to inghampreschool.org and complete the online application. After you do that first step, you will be contacted via email, text, and or a letter instructing you on completing the application process. And this is how you complete the process. So it's a little bit complicated. You're going to do the inghampreschool.org online enrollment application. And then you also have to go to lansingschools.net/enroll and do our Lansing online application as well. And
But
at that time,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
and at that time, you will upload the below documents. There's your child's birth certificate, immunization record, so making sure it's an updated immunization record, proof of residence, which could be a utility bill or a lease, verification of income, which could include a check stub, W-2, tax return, DHHS statement, etc. And then if applicable, guardianship or custody documents. Kim?
So yeah, I just wanted to say that many of you got this information about this meeting. And so many of you may have completed the entire process. Some of you may be in the middle of the process. Once we get word from Ingham ISD, when you have applied for preschool, they will let us know. They'll send us an email, and then we contact you to complete the application process. So that means that the Lansing School District enrollment form, that whole document needs to be completed, but only after ISD tells us that you're ready to enroll. So if you're online, if you're on this call, you probably have completed most of this. There might be some things that you are still missing. Please make sure that those are turned in as soon as possible. And if you haven't registered or if you have not applied on the Ingham ISD website, please do so as soon as possible, because we want to make sure that we have space for you.
Okay, thank you.
So the process for applying to the preschool is not the process that we most prefer. It's a little bit complicated, and we're here to just let you know that if you need any help, to please make sure you contact the preschool office. I think Angie, the next slide has all the information for Miss Margaret. But the important thing that we want to let you know that even though this is different than what we all expected our kids to start their educational career, that we have some very, very professional, trained teachers that are doing their best they can to flip this pandemic into a positive experience for your kids. And this will require an effort from us and from you, but your kids will really have a good opportunity to learn in this program. As far as the application goes, just if you're not sure and if you have any questions, make sure you call the number or email the person that you're about to see in the slides. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. So we will pull up that contact information at the last slide. We have one more slide before that. and it's about Parent University, which Kim Johnson-Ray will tell us about.
Thank you. I was answering Alexander's question. Ms. Alexander, if you have documents, you can bring them to our GSRP office. And Angie, if you would put that in the chat, the address, and we'll take care of everything from there, Alexander.
I can do it. I'll do it.
Okay, great, thank you. I do want to just share a piece of great information about our parent university. This is new. This is a new initiative for the Lansing School District. We are actually supporting parents and learning how to screen to screen with your educator or your teacher, your child's teacher. There's some other things that are other workshops that are on the schedule that I think many parents would be interested in. So first, our first session starts August 8th, and that's Google Classroom. So the platform that Lansing School District will be using is the Google Classroom, the Google platform. So our teachers will be using Google Classroom. So you might want to know a little bit about that. You attend so many sessions, you get a certificate. There's just so many perks to this. Many of you will need to know your code and all of that and how to use Parent View. If you have a question about that, you can attend that particular session. So there are just a lot of things that are coming for parents, just so that you are in the know and you understand some of the things that we're actually doing through Parent University. So sign up for that as well. And you can look on the Lansing School District website. It's lansingschools.net, and you'll find that information there.
Thank you, Kim. I just want to point out our Welcome Center, our GSRP office is at the Lansing School District Welcome Center, and it's on Pattengill Avenue, which sometimes people get confused with that because they think it's where Pattengill School is, but it is not. The zip code is 48910. So it's kind of near the intersection of Mount Hope and MLK. Let's see here. So this is our contact information. Margaret Carey is our program secretary, and her email is margaret.carey, CARY@lansingschools.net. Our phone number is 755-3390. And you're welcome to email documents, upload them on our Lansing website, drop them off at the office, or we do have a fax, which is 755-1399. So that is the end of our presentation. I'm not sure if we want to address some more of these questions in the chat.
Yeah, there was one question that said they wanted to know if Lions had an inclusive classroom, and I was just getting ready to answer that. Angie, if you'd like to go ahead.
Sure. So it's not considered one of our 9 inclusive classrooms, but all classrooms are, any classroom, we would take a child with an IEP, but even though one of our inclusive classrooms might have more services, I guess it depends on what your child's individual needs are.
So there's another question. Will the 3 sessions for Parent University be the same? No, they're all going to be different. There'll be different topics for each one of the classes. There may be some repeats as we go along, as that particular department that actually is putting on the Parent University sessions. And if there's a topic that you've missed, I do believe that all of those sessions will be recorded so that you can watch them at your leisure.
Someone asked if their health appraisal would work that's dated from last winter. If this is a student that is new this school year, the health appraisal just needs to be less than a year old. If this is your second year in our program, then your health appraisal from the following year should be okay, because that would need to be less than 2 years old.
Now, somebody
Would you-
asked, I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
Somebody asked about if they don't have internet. We are working with actually 7 different companies, well, 2 companies and other agencies to provide services to our families, okay? So that's one. And then Angie, somebody asked if you can show the session dates again of the parent university.
Mhm.
Yes, they are on the screen, and they're also located on the Lansing School District website.
If you'd like to take a screenshot or a picture of those dates, that's fine.
Someone is saying, when could we possibly meet a teacher? Once we, first of all, we are going to notify you very soon if you completed all the papers, where your class, where your school, where your child will be attending, what school. And then, as Miss Angie has said before, the teachers and the parents and the kid will have an opportunity to meet the first, when would that be, Angie?
It would be the week before school, screen-to-screen learning starts. So either the week of September 7th or the beginning of the week of September 14th. So that second and third week of September.
If your child would need a special education, what would it look like? Every child that qualifies for special education services will be provided with those services. And those services will definitely be on a one-on-one situation with the specialist from the special education department, speech therapist, or a social worker,
Occupational therapy.
yes, any type of services that your child qualifies for will continue. This is what we've done is we have put a school and everything inside school and try to transfer into a computer and into your home and into people connecting with your children. This has been one of the most, I would say, challenging experiences that we will ever go through, I hope, in our lives. But out of this, something good will come out. I'm very hopeful that we're going to get something good out of this. If anybody has any more questions, please put it on the chat. If not, can you please move one more time to the last screen with the contact information? And please, if you need to take a picture of this screen, please do it now so you will know exactly how to connect with our office.
Someone did ask how much time will children be on screen-to-screen learning each day. We want it to be developmentally appropriate, so a lot of the learning may be active learning that takes place off of the screen, and then you come back together as a group. So we're hoping it would be no more than an hour. But we are also waiting for the Michigan Department of Education preschool guidelines to come out as well to know for sure what our guidelines will be on that.
There's another question. What if the child doesn't end up getting to complete all the modules for each day? That would be okay. You can actually complete those modules or look at the videos and do some of that in the evening or on the weekend. Those learning videos will be available for you to use anytime. Here, another question about schedules for those 4 days. The 4 days, we're still in the process of completing what that actually would look like for 4-year-olds. So we don't have a firm schedule yet. We are working on that. We want to do what's right and what's best for kids as far as screen to screen is concerned. Our daily program, though, looks pretty much or pretty similar to what you saw during this presentation. So we will share that information with you as soon as we have confirmed our schedule and it's approved.
Sheila asked, my son is currently enrolled in Head Start. Is this program still the same? So we do have Head Start spots within our Lansing School District classrooms, and that is the same program that we're talking about right now.
But Head Start is
Yeah.
actually that our Head Start students actually learn through our program. So Head Start and Lansing are 2 separate entities. So their programs are a little different than ours, but we do have that inclusive classroom where we do include some Head Start students.
If you start in an immersion school, does that feed into being in that school starting kindergarten? So you would still need to register for kindergarten in that school, but it would give your child a great start for, you know, beginning their education there at that immersion school.
So what's the question? So I wouldn't need to reapply. If you start an immersion school, does it fit into the, did somebody answer that or?
So
She's asking about reapplying because she applied for Head Start. She's asking if she would need to reapply.
She would not need to reapply. She would just need to let Head Start know that she wants Lansing. They will make sure that her name, the child's name, and all that information is flipped to Lansing.
Yeah, but I'm seeing another one right now, another question. If you start in an immersion school, does that fit into being into that school? Yeah, you will fit into that school.
If that's what you like.
If that's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go into an immersion school in preschool, I can guarantee you that you will have a spot in the kindergarten school. That's what we want to, that's what we want to do. We're going to keep those babies in the same track and learn that Espanol or that Chinese so they can say, oh, they can say, she and
Angie, could you answer that third to the last question? I missed the link where we upload the documents and where we print the health appraisal.
Sure. So I put lansingschools.net/enroll because if you complete that application, there's a place for you to upload the documents there. And then you would ask Margaret Carey for the health appraisal. And if Margaret, you're on this Zoom, if you have a better option, please let us know. And I will again put Margaret's email in here.
And if you know anybody in the neighborhood or any family members or anybody that your little kids play with and they want to enroll or in the process of enrolling, please direct them to the same information we provided. This is a great opportunity for our babies to be ready for kindergarten.
I also want to make sure that parents who have kindergarten age students are
Yes.
able to enroll their kids, their kindergarten students, on the Lansing School District website. So yeah, we're enrolling our kids, and it's you really want to get in as soon as possible, the kindergarten and the preschool.
So also remember that we're here to help you. We're here to support your kids. The school district is working on a schedule by grade level. So each grade, if you have more than one student in the school district, different grade levels will be going live on the computer at different times. So when you are when you're at home and you're sitting at that table with all your little babies trying to learn, they're all going to be at different times with their teachers. Okay, so hopefully that's not going to stress you out, and also it's going to be able to keep you insane for the next couple of months. We know this is not easy, but we got the best possible support that we can provide for your kids.
Yeah, and Cammie just put a direct link to the health appraisal. Those are due 30 days after the first day that you start screen-to-screen learning, but it's always great to get that in right away if you can as well. Okay. Are there any other questions? If we missed your question in chat, if you could kind of alert us and let us know. You said, I'm worried about my daughter. She just speaks Spanish, so she will have support in order to understand English. Our teachers, one of our teachers, especially at Luton in the preschool classroom, she is bilingual and knows Spanish and English, so she can support your child in both languages. And that they'll be immersing her in some English as well to learn the language.
And I do hablo español. Si usted quiere, señora, llámeme y le pongo el número de teléfono ahí abajo. So I can write the phone number and you can contact me and I can provide you more information in español. Okay?
Yes. And I'm sorry, I said that wrong, because you may want to put your child, enroll in any school, not just Luton. I was thinking of Spanish immersion at Luton. But yes, we can definitely support you no matter what school you enroll at. And your password is disabled on the Lansing School. So Sergio, do you know who they might contact if they applied at the Lansing School District website and their password is now saying it's disabled?
Yes, I'm gonna put the name and the phone number.
Thank you.
That's a very common thing, okay? So don't worry. Well, if there's no more questions in the chat room, thank you so much for taking your time. I know it's 8 o'clock at night and we really appreciate your time, and we hope to see your kids in the program, and let's hope that by the early November, this world, I don't know what to say. I hope this world gets better and then that we can have our kids back in school. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great night.
Thank you, everyone.
There's one last question. The normal hours, Kim, are you around still?
She had to go.
Okay.
Who? 8:35 to 3:52 p.m.
That's what it was last year. So we follow the times of the school for the older grades in the school. So last year, those were the times, and we're not positive, but it will probably be around the similar times this year, if not the same.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, we appreciate
Have a good night.
attending. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.